11. Well, it's 11:11 right now. So if you're watching this on the replay, you get extra 11:11 magic today. Okay, just making sure. And then that way I can watch chats come and go. So Happy New Year, everybody. Time I did this, I was like so ready to go. And then I went through a massive ego death and was like, no, just kidding. I'm not ready. But I'm starting to feel more and more ready to like come out of my cave. So if you haven't seen or heard what's going on, a little update. A couple of months ago, with my mom's cancer and some other things, I decided to, my partnership in the studio felt like it was time to come to an end the way that it had been going. And Jerry is stepping in, and he is now working with Carrie and Jasmine and Kate, and it's turning into, they've done a whole bunch of work at the studio. It's been really, really beautiful. So I am really excited to see how that evolves for them. And I've been taking time working with my mom and healing my own personal stuff. And now here I am, and I'm like ready to kind of like people again, human again. So when you're here, say hello so I can see who's here. And I wanted to talk a little bit about goals. And why I don't set goals in the new year. I used to be a massive goal setter. And if you are like me, then just like, yep, me too, massive goal setter. I used to in January or even in December. If I was really on the ball in December, I'd sit down and I'd have a notebook and I'd have all my little goals, and I'm writing them down, and I'm going to put my schedule, and I'm Monday morning I'm starting this, and then Tuesday I'm doing this, and I'm going to work out, and I'm going to eat this, and I'm going to go here, and I'd structure my whole life in January. And then within like 3 days, my body is rebelling. Everything in me is like, this is too much. And for the longest time, I really just thought something was wrong with me. But you guys, the statistics say that within the first 7 days of January, 90% of people quit their New Year's resolutions. Within the first week of January, 90% of people quit. They quit their New Year's resolutions. And there's less than like 4% of people actually stick to their resolutions. And I just like learning these things over the last couple of years. And I've been studying and why and psychology. I want to understand how the mind works and how we get the body to do what we want it to do. And how do we create and go for these goals. I'm like big into manifesting, and I really want to manifest, and I'm an incredible manifester, but I am not a goal setter. And especially in January. And here's why. January is winter. And who's with me? Say hi. Who's here? How many of you guys have felt this way? How many of you felt like a failure setting goals? And how many of you have ever already, be honest, are you still working with your goals this year? We're a week to January, and statistics say 90% of people quit their goals within the first week. So let's be honest here. Where are you? How you doing? Let's share. The reason is it's winter. It sounds obvious. It sounds like, well, yeah. And what does that have to do with anything, Jenny? Well, let me explain to you. We are a part of Earth. This concept is so core to this teaching that I want to spend a little bit of time working through this, because Earth, my body, water, my blood, air, my breath, and fire, my spirit. We are Earth. We are connected to Earth. And there's even a lot of cultures that believe that we were built from the Earth, that the Earth was taken to make man, that man was made out of clay and then became alive. Like there's a lot of things that we are a part of Earth. And so we naturally follow cycles and rhythms, just like nature does. And right now, the Northern Hemisphere is in winter. We just got a fresh blanket of snow yesterday, and it was so cozy to lay inside and just watch the magic come down. So winter is a time of hibernation. Winter is a time of rest, rejuvenation, healing. It is water element. And so water element is all about going with the flow, being in the womb. And it's dark. It is so dark right now because we are not meant to be going and doing. Thanks to modern technology, we have lights that can stay on, whether it's dark or light outside, and we have power and heat, and we can go and do whatever we want. But our natural rhythm as a human being that is connected to this planet in winter is hibernate. Rest. The leaves have all fallen and all of the energy from the trees have gone down into the trunk and into the roots to preserve their energy. I saw this really interesting study. These scientists injected redwood trees with adrenaline to see what would happen if they didn't hibernate for a season. They died within the year. These ancient trees that have lived for hundreds of years, centuries, they've seen so much happen on this planet. And within 1 year, without hibernating, they died. And we live in a society that is go, 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 do, do, do. And we value people's worth based on their accomplishments, their accolades, what they check off and say, I did this, and look, I can prove it. And so we want to like create these check boxes for ourselves, and we want to set up these goals. We want to prove how awesome and worthy we are. We want to create our reality. All of it is so beautiful. Not in January, not right now. Now is the time to rest. Now is the time to relax. Now is the time to float and just go with the flow. It is the time for dreaming, really dreaming. Don't do anything yet, but you can dream about it. You can dream about planting your garden. You can dream about, working on your body. You can dream about these things, but now is not the time to do them yet. And so what I like to do in January instead is really sit. I sit. And I go in. And I go, okay, what's the intention that I want for this year? Because it is still a new year, right? Regardless of, the Gregorian calendar, does not align with our Earth cycle, right? Like the new year really should be, according to Earth cycle, spring, March 21st. That's when the world really wakes up and starts producing and going and doing. Not winter. Winter is not the time for production. Winter is not the time for going and doing. Winter is the time for rest and going within. And so, but our Gregorian calendar starts January 1st. And so as a society and a culture, we really want to okay, this year is going to be different. And so I like to still sit and create some intentions. What are the experiences that I want to feel? How do I want to feel this year? What are the experiences that I want to call in? And I just kind of write things down. And then based on that, I look at that and go, okay, what's the overall feeling of all of these things that I want to experience? What's that feeling that I want to have, or that I think these things are going to bring me? And that's my intention. So if you have any questions, text them, type them in the chat box. Or if you're like, yes, I agree with you, then let me know. Or if you're like, this doesn't make sense to me, let's talk about it. So, but say hi so I can see that you're here. And I do have my phone up because I know last time we had a little technicality issue, but what's your intention for this year? Do you set intentions or do you set goals? Do you feel successful in setting those goals? Because some people do really. There's less than 10% of the population sets goals in January and actually achieves them throughout the year. That's less than 10%. And that just tells me that we're not meant to. We're really not meant to set goals in January. So setting an intention is really, really powerful. And it's also that the winter time is that time of going in. Intention is going in, internal, resting. Water is the element, so drinking a lot of teas. I've got a nice tea right here right now, soaking in hot tubs or going to the hot springs, or even having pictures of water or running water around you can really help you get into this flow state. Winter is also a really beautiful time to create. Just create for creation's sake. Not because you're trying to produce something, producing an outcome. It's just this, let me just get my creative juices flowing. Sit down, pick up a pen, and just doodle. Allow yourself to free flow without structure, because that's the season that we are in. Okay, well, that's all I really have. Does anybody have any questions about any of this? That why we don't set goals in the wintertime and what we do instead. March is typically when I sit down and go, okay, for this next full year, full calendar year, that's zodiac year, I should say, the full zodiac year that starts in March, Aries, when life actually comes back to our planet and I'm ready to spring to life again. Now I'm going to set some actual goals and deadlines. Now, I do have some goals, right? Like I'm writing my book. That's a goal. But I'm not like structuring and going, oh, every day I'm going to sit down between blah, 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 blah. And I'm going to write this many words. I'm going to write for this long, or I'm going to because it's winter and it's time to rest. We are so overworked as a society. I mean, like we work 40 hours a week for 2 days off in trade. And then 2 weeks a year of vacation. We are overworked. We are overstressed. We are overwhelmed because we are inundated with so much stuff. We have this beautiful technology that is connecting us right now. Hi, I see you. Thank you for being here. And I'm so glad that we get to connect over the internet. But it never turns off. It never turns off. It never stops. And we feel like we have this urge to just like, I gotta go, I gotta keep up, I don't want to get left behind. And then we wonder why we have autoimmune diseases, why we have war, why we have such high abuse and addiction rates in our world, substance abuse in general, and addiction, because we don't know, we haven't given ourselves permission to rest, to stop, to really go, what is this? There's this old Zen koan that says everyone should meditate for 20 minutes a day, unless you don't have time. Then you should meditate for an hour. And I just because if you don't have 20 minutes to sit and be still and go within, then you probably need an hour to really reconfigure your life, because if you don't have 20 minutes for yourself, then you really need to spend an hour reconfiguring some things, because you only exist for you, but you're existing because society says, oh, I'm existing to work and I'm existing to do all of these things. And then I got to pay this and I got to do that. And I become blah, blah, blah. And we become this, we just start to become overwhelmed by all of these things and stuff that we feel like we have to do. And there's just not enough time in the day. And then we lay our heads down at bed at night and just feel like garbage because there's no way we can do it all. And we just feel like a complete failure. And these goals that I just set, it's too much. I don't have the energy. And then we think something is vitally wrong with me. I must be broken. I must be unworthy. I must be unlovable, which is a lie, which is the illusion. And so sitting and being still and just meditating, just looking out the window and watching the snow and daydreaming, so important in the wintertime. It is so important because allowing the mind to just wander and daydream starts to plant little seeds that when it's coming to springtime, now I can actually start to see maybe this seed start to sprout and I can start taking action towards this goal, and then I can manifest it because in spring I have the energy, because spring is wood energy and it's penetrating and it's go and it's so yummy and juicy. So just listen, just stop. Just stop for a minute. Just stop and really tune in to your body and take a little note from nature and try to honor your own natural rhythms and cycles and go, are these goals really, really what I want? Or is it what I think I'm supposed to do because it's what the world says I should do, right? Like a lot of times goals are around losing weight because we want to have the perfect body, because if I don't have this body, then I'm not loved by this society. Let's just get rid of that one right now. Making money and all of these external goals are beautiful. And yes, they give us like something to go for and to reach after, and they can drive us, but not in the winter. We don't have energy for it. We're meant to rest. And also they're all external. They're all external. And I can tell you firsthand, I have been a millionaire. I have traveled the world. I've all of these different things. I can say these external things. I could say, oh my God, yes, yes, yes. But I still struggled with finding peace and joy in them because I was still with me. I was still had my same brain and my same heart, even though I had checked off this really cool thing that the world says this means success. I still didn't feel valued. I still didn't feel loved. I still didn't feel successful because I was valuing my success externally. And it just still wasn't enough. It still wasn't enough. All those things, every time I hit a new mile marker, a new stone of success level, whatever, that's external, I still internally was like, something's still wrong with me. What's wrong with me? Why can't I? And it was like, oh, because I'm placing my value outside of me instead of inside of me. And this is where intention is so, so powerful. When we set those intention and how do I want to feel? And I can control that. I can't control what happens externally, no matter what action I take. Working out at the gym is a really good example because I started out in this industry as a personal trainer and nutrition specialist 20 years ago. And I thought if I had all the knowledge and I had all of the tools to have the perfect body, that I would have the perfect body, which would mean I'd have the perfect life, right? Wrong. On so many levels, wrong, right? Because here's the thing. I can control what I put in my mouth. I can control how I move my body and when I move my body and how and all of that stuff. But what I cannot control is my actual body, what my body decides to do with the food that I feed it and the activity that I put it through. It's still going to do whatever it wants, however it wants. It's still going to take the food and do whatever it needs with it. So trying to base my happiness and success on a number on a scale, is setting myself up for failure because I don't know what my body's going to do with any of these things. And I don't have control over my body in that level. But what I can do is how do I want to feel in my body? I want to feel healthy. I want to feel energized. I want to have energy to do the things that I want to do, which is I like to go hiking. I like to do yoga. I like to dance. I like to sing. I like to go to hot springs. I like to surf. And so can my body do these things? As long as my body can do those things, I'm good. I just want to feel this in my body. So instead of setting an external marker that will set me up for success, because sometimes we have no control on the external circumstances, right? And this is also letting go of expectation and attachment. And there's so much happening in here. How do I want to feel? I can control that. And can I start feeling that way now? When I let go of an external marker on my body. I ditched the scale. I let go of the scale. I stopped weighing myself and I stopped forcing myself to try to look a certain way. 6-pack thigh gap I really wanted a 6-pack and a thigh gap. My body just doesn't do 6-pack and thigh gap. I am the smallest I've ever been right now. No 6-pack, no thigh gap. The inner thighs still touching, you guys. And so I had to let go of those external markers that kept me feeling like garbage and like I wasn't good enough and made me want to give up trying to eat healthy, and which all made me feel good. Eating healthy and moving my body made me feel good. But because I wasn't reaching that external marker, I felt bad. Well, let's change the goal. Let's change that marker of success. What makes me feel successful in my body is having energy. Can I do a handstand still? Because I want a handstand. Can I climb a mountain still? Because I love climbing mountains. As long as I can do those, I'm good. Um, any questions? I see quite a few of you on here now. So what questions do you have for me about goal setting, or intention setting? And I would love to invite you all to boop-a-doop. Right here, I'm doing a meditation challenge. Right now, it's running right now. I've had some incredibly beautiful. Let's see. I want to see the chat still. No one's saying anything. Hi. Can you see me? Can I see you? Is anybody? I have my Facebook open so I can see you, but say hi so I can see you. So this meditation challenge, it's a 24-day meditation challenge. It is self-paced. You go at your own time. You set your own schedule. Each meditation is between 8 to 12 minutes. And then I invite 5 to 10 minutes. I invite you to sit after that meditation for 5 to 10 minutes to contemplate or journal. And in this meditation challenge, it's $24. That's $1 a day. You get a workbook that guides you through this whole process and has journal prompts or even just contemplation. You don't have to write. You can just ask the question and then sit and contemplate. This whole daydreaming piece, this is winter. This is what we're supposed to do. This challenge is unlock your intuition. Unlocking your intuition. Your intuition is your inner knowing, your inner guiding system that guides you for your highest good in your heart. And the reason I love teaching people how to tune into their intuition is because when you are connected to your intuition, you will never need external validation ever again. Indecision will disappear. And I don't know, I'm still working on the whole indecision piece. And that one comes a lot from, it's a trauma response to a codependent relationship. But like you will have the ability to access your inner knowing and know which way to go was the right way for you. What goals are really meant for you. Like not the ones you think you're supposed to do, but like what does your heart really want? What is it really calling for you? Hey, Carrie. Hey, Shelly. Oh, thanks. My shirt's kind of fun, huh? It's like a little retro. It's a fun one. So this meditation challenge is all about you tuning into your inner knowing, your inner guiding system so that it can guide you to the goals that are actually meant for you. And then here's the fun thing, right? Because sometimes I would even set goals that I thought I was supposed to I want to be a millionaire. This is the coolest thing. I'm going to be so successful and I'm going to my business and this and that and this and that. And I forgot where I was going with this. Goals, internal, intuition. Oh, so I'm doing something that I think is what's going to help me be a millionaire, right? I'm doing the steps and I'm following somebody else's system, right? Somebody says that if you want to be a millionaire, you got to do this. And you got to, because they're a millionaire, I'm going to follow them. They're a guide. But they also don't work the way I work, right? And I, for the last 20 years, have been doing hundreds of different trainings and workshops, and I've read thousands of books, and I've had millions of experiments personally and with clients, watching them go for their dreams and their goals and setting goals. And I've watched and seen that, sometimes these goals we think we want because it's what society tells us is success, and then you'll be loved, right? And accepted and valued. That's really all we want. And we don't need anything to feel love, approval, and acceptance because that all comes from in here. You don't need anything. You don't need a different body. You don't need a different job. You don't need a different relationship. You don't need anything. You don't need any more money. As you are enough. And when you start to really feel that right in here, I am enough. And I can love, approve, and accept myself as I am, then guess what? Like all those things magically start showing up in your world. And I know it sounds like, right, but it's true. And I am 100% proof of that. My body, I stopped working out. I stopped going to the gym. I stopped counting calories. I stopped trying to make my body fit a 6-pack and thigh gap. I stopped. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to love my body. Because my body's amazing and it does all of these things for me. And it's gone every place I've ever been. It's been there and it has helped me get there. I need this body. I love this body. And what if I just loved this body and wanted to feel good in my body? And just gauged my success off of how good I feel in my body. And then guess what, you guys? Within 3 years, my body completely shifted and changed. Money, same thing. When I was trying to make money and I was trying to make it work, trying to make it happen and doing the things, like what you resist persists, right? And when I stopped trying, it just started to flow to me naturally. And not to say that there weren't obstacles, not to say I don't work out and I don't eat healthy, right? But it became a different way. It was like when I moved my body, it became this beautiful, sacred honoring of this body. Because I want my body to feel good, I'm going to move it, and I'm going to move it in a way that feels good because I want to feel good. And then I always feel good. Do you see what I'm saying here? And then with money, it was like this, instead of like, oh, this is a really great idea and it could make a lot of money and I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. It became this, inspired idea. I'm going to start working towards that because that feels really good. And then the stuff, I still have to do the things, but it's not as hard because it's this inspiration. It's this inner knowing that even if nothing comes of it, I'm doing it because it feels good to do it. And so the energy behind it becomes so much more powerful. Instead of me trying to force and criticize and beat myself up into submission to try to fit into this box, to fit into this success, whatever we think that looks like, we stop and we just surrender and we go, I am a success. I am already loved and valued and accepted as I am. And then things start to naturally come to you. So that's why I'm doing this meditation challenge. So you can tune into your intuition, find what your heart is really begging you to go for. And it's time. It is time. It is time. And you have everything you need. If you have the dream for it, you have everything you need to do it already. All you have to do is start taking the steps toward it. And that's what I want to help you do, is to find that inner knowing, find the safe space inside, and to start working towards your inner guiding system so that will guide you where you're supposed to be. So all you do is text the word meditate to that number right there, and you'll get a little, just fill out the rest of the forms. I need your email, and it's $24. And then I do have some incentives and goodies for people that are sharing it too. So there's a community where we're coming together, and I'm sending little reminders and tips and tricks on meditation and intuition and manifesting and all of this fun stuff. So I would love to see you there. And I would love to know what is your intuition, or your intuition? What is your intention for the year? My intention this year, last year, I'm going to go over this real fast though. Last year was embrace every experience. That was my intention for 2023. Embrace every experience. And boy, did the universe deliver all these experiences for me to embrace. Bless universe's heart. Last year was a really big year for me. It was a 9-year for me. So I was ending a whole bunch of cycles, and I went through a massive ego death the last 3 months of last year. And this year is a 1-year for me. And if you want, you're like, what are you talking about year? If you go to my Facebook page, you'll see a little link that's like 8, because we're in an 8-year right now. Woo-hoo! We're in an 8-year abundance, prosperity, infinity. It's such a beautiful year. But you also have your own personal numerology within that year. And mine's a 1. So I'm starting new and fresh, and I can feel it. I feel different. And this year, my intention is feminine flow. Feminine flow. I really it's time to step into my feminine flow. I've been living in my wounded masculine. And wounded masculine is that go, do, go. Do. You must prove yourself worthy of everybody and everything. Produce, produce, produce. Feminine flow is creative. It's soft, and it's receiving. It's receptive. Females receive. Masculine penetrates, right? It goes and does. It goes and does. And female energy opens and receives and allows and surrenders. So this is the energy that I'm trying to embrace this year, is a little more feminine flow, that softness. and fluidity, a more creativity. Feminine energy is very creative. And there's definitely times I need to be in my masculine to actually do the things. But embracing the feminine flow and trusting when that is. So if you guys want to share your intentions with me, I would love to celebrate in that with you and help you with them. Or you're welcome to join my meditation challenge. So it's going to be super fun. So have a beautiful day. I love you all. Mwah. Namaste.